get me to where I am today, 6 years later, symptom-free of almost every disease that I had, feeling great. I am not on any medications at all. Welcome. My name is Shauna Allred, and I am a health and wellness educator and coach, and I absolutely have a strong passion for helping people, especially who have been diagnosed with autoimmune diseases, and to see that there could be hope. So thank you for joining me. Thanks you guys for watching live. I'm super excited to share with you day one and the first intro video. This video may be a little bit longer than some of the rest. Actually, it probably will be. The rest of them this month will be pretty short and sweet. And but this one, I'm just going to fill you in on my story in case you haven't met me before in person, and you can hear what's going on with me, but more importantly, how that might relate to you. So welcome. Thanks for watching. If you're watching live, please say hi and give me some love and some hearts and all that good stuff, the likes, and tell me where you're watching from. I'm not seeing any comments yet, so I'm going to play with this just for a second to see, because I don't see it, because I get really sad if I can't see comments, because it's not nearly as fun. So hopefully the comments will start. Oh, yay, I see something happening. So if you're watching live, say hi, tell me where you're watching from. And if you are watching the replay, which most of you will probably be watching the replay, put hashtag replay so that I can touch base with you later on. Thank you again for watching. I'm still not seeing comments. Why is it doing this? Lord help me. It says swipe to reveal comments. Yep. Oh, yay, comments. Yay. Okay, awesome. Thanks, you guys. Hi. Wisconsin. I see. Carol, I didn't realize you were in Wisconsin. Awesome. Michigan. Thanks for joining from all over. This is so fun. Okay, so again, my name is Shauna Allred, and I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not trying to claim anything that will cure you or, cure your diseases or whatever. I am simply a mom of 2 kids, almost 3. In fact, I don't know if you see that string in the background, but that is a balloon string because we are adopting from Africa. So our little girl from Africa will be coming home soon. So I'll be a mom of 3. We homeschool. I am passionate about health and wellness and always have been. Actually, I was a gymnast as a kid, cheerleaders all through junior high school, college, and I just love to be active and fit. I love organic food. I love supplements, and I love essential oils. I love all kinds of things that are really good for you. And I've always been that way, even in the midst of my autoimmune diseases. I was never much of one for, I just always loved health and wellness. So here is a little background for you on me. Again, I'm not a doctor or nurse or trying to cure or prevent or treat any diseases. I just want to share with you my story of how I went from crazy autoimmune diseases to feeling great. So here we go. At about the age of 15 is when I first started to feel some symptoms. And most of that was in my knees, actually, because I was a gymnast and cheerleader. I would wear braces on my knees all the time because they hurt, and go to physical therapy. Then we thought I had mono, and I thought, we didn't really know. They didn't diagnose me with mono, but I was just really sick. So anyway, after high school, I ended up hospitalized, and I was not well. I moved out with some friends, my friend Michelle, maybe she'll see this on here, my awesome friend Michelle, and I moved out, and I only made it a couple of months before I was hospitalized for the first time because of these diseases, and I was not well. My hips would basically lock into place, and I had this anaphylactic shock reaction to some medication the doctors had put me on to help with the pain and the joint discomfort and all that yucky stuff I was dealing with. And when I was in the hospital, I was put on steroids and all the yucky stuff. Now, I'm not against medicine. There is a time and a place for it, but it wasn't the right decision, or it wasn't the right timing for me for all that stuff. I felt like it was making me a lot worse than better. So I actually pretty much walked out of the hospital after a week or so of being in the hospital. And I decided that I wanted to seek out natural solutions to help all of my junk that I was starting to be diagnosed with. So, hi, thank you guys for watching. I'm so excited there's live viewers. So continue to give some hearts and likes and stuff, especially if you hear something that you can relate to. So anyway, I basically decided to just work as I could on my own and with chiropractors and naturopathic physicians to feel better from all these diseases. We didn't even fully know what I had at that time. I just knew that I wasn't well. At about the age of 19, I think, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and it was so bad. This is weird, you guys, but and if you're a guy, I apologize. Close your ears. But that time of month, my endometriosis was so bad, if I blew my nose would bleed. It was like really weird. It was really weird. So anyway, they said that I should get a hysterectomy and I wouldn't be able to have any kids, but I said, I don't want to do surgery just yet. Let's just play this out. I'm really young still, and I really choose to not do surgery just yet. So I also went to Africa when I was 21 and 20 and spent a few summers there, a couple summers there. And the second time that I went, I came home and was very, very, very ill on the plane. I was like green and passed out. It was not good. And it took about 6 months probably, but they finally diagnosed that one with a form of malaria called dengue fever. So I came home with dengue fever from Africa in spite of all of the medications or the larium stuff that they have you do and the vaccinations and whatever we did before. And I still came home with a form of malaria. And that did not play well with my system. So that was like icing on the cake for what I was already experiencing with all the autoimmune junk. So I decided to seek out, this is in my 20s, I did what's called the Max Gerson therapy. You can look that up and see how lovely that one is. It's tons of juicing. It's vegan. I was vegan for a long time, about 8 years, and I did all kinds of crazy things that were very healthy but kind of weird, and was one step away from being like in a facility where I would be for 2 months to really get well from all these diseases and all this junk, but opted to just continue to do my best at home. The doctors told me that I wouldn't be able to probably have kids because my system was so shot all the time. And it was like if I was around somebody that had a cold, I would get their cold every single time, and it would last for me for like 3 months. It was just like it would just linger and linger and linger and linger. I just couldn't seem to get over it. It was just kind of my lot in life. So if you can relate to this, if you are somebody who struggles with autoimmune, put a me in the comments. Put a me in the comments so I can see how many on here are dealing with autoimmune or possibly getting diagnosed with something autoimmune, whatever it is. So after I had my second child, God blessed me with being able to have 2 kids. And this is weird, but while I was pregnant, I actually felt better than any other time in my life. I felt amazing while I was pregnant. I had great pregnancies, but after the kids were born, my body went poof and plummeted really bad. So by the time my second one was born, my body was done. It was completely done. And it was about when he was 1.5 years that my body decided to literally just shut down. And I went back into the hospital because I was covered head to toe with these like boils, literally, all over my body. They were disgusting. They were called pustules, I think, pustules. And, that one, it took about 6 months for them to diagnose me with what's called Sweets syndrome, like SWEET, like a sweet syndrome. Google that puppy. Goodness. Sweet syndrome is not pretty. You do not want it, and it's very rare. And so it took a long time for the doctors to figure out what that one was. They had to do a bunch of biopsies in those big old pustules that I had, and I was quarantined in the hospital to the point where anybody that wanted to see me, I was in my little room. They had to go through a special room and put on a suit and the whole thing to come and see me, and they could not touch me. I don't know if you guys know me at all, but I'm not a very touchy person at all. However, this experience really, really taught me the power of human touch. Because when you cannot be physically touched skin to skin with somebody for a week or so, or at least even a day or 2 days, but a week or whatever, that is really hard. And I'm not a touchy person, not at all. But that was really, really emotional for me. And I didn't realize how important it is. So if you have the ability to just love on somebody, and again, I'm not a hugger, but you know what? Sometimes it's good for the soul to give a good old hug, to have that human contact. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching. I'm so excited to be sharing my story with you. And thank you for being alive and commenting and all that too. It makes it more fun. So I appreciate you. I'm reading your comments as we go. Okay, so I had sweet syndrome and I was not looking good. I got out of the hospital It was a year or so later that we ended up moving to the city that we live in now. And then I just continued to get worse. And by the time my son was about 5 years old, I was struggling with really bad ulcers all over my mouth and my throat from the autoimmune stuff. And by this time, I was officially diagnosed with systemic lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma, Sjogren's, polyangiomyositis, the Sweet syndrome. Oh gosh, there's so many of them I forget. Of course, the dengue fever was on there. So it's kind of like this big boiling pot. Oh, mixed connective tissue disease, Raynaud's, circulatory issue. If I think of more of them, I should write them down, I suppose, but I don't want to focus on them. So anyway, I had this whole list of things that I was diagnosed with, and I was able to do a little, but not very much. And so I was home with my kids. At that time, I was just teaching piano lessons a little bit on the side of, 10 hours a week maybe, because that's what my body was able to sustain. And it kept me kind of going. I enjoyed teaching piano lessons because I got to see some people, and it kind of got me out of bed sometimes, but it wasn't overexerting. And I really, really, really loved working with the kids and seeing their progression with piano. And music is my passion. Absolutely love music. I love playing the piano. And so I enjoyed the piano lessons. So by the time my son was at 5 years old and in kindergarten, my daughter was in first grade, my body was just really declining. I was given a death sentence of about 5 to 10 years left to live, because the scleroderma, if you know anything about scleroderma, it kind of hardens your body from the inside out. And I was getting some patches on my skin that were starting to harden. And also my lungs were showing signs of the scleroderma, and my kidneys. And what they were saying to me is that that scleroderma was just going to continue to take over my lungs. And in about 5 years, I would have to be walking around with an oxygen tank, because my lungs would not be to expand to their full capacity. So I would need extra support with oxygen. And then within a couple years after that, they said the oxygen tank's not going to do a whole lot for me anymore. And basically it's a long, slow suffocation. And I would just stop breathing one day, which, wow, that sounds exciting. Does that sound good? If that would sound amazing to you, put a thumbs up. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, give me an angry face, because that's how I felt. And I'm going to embrace the angry right now. So give me one of those angry faces if that would make you as angry as it made me. So I hated this. I hated this diagnosis. It was not good. It was not a good future. The doctors were telling me that there's nothing you can do. They said, this is your lot in life. This is all that you can. I mean, you're just going to have to deal with it and just come to terms with what you have. You can take more medication. I wasn't on any medication at that time. Except for birth control pills for the endometriosis, but I didn't do any other meds ever for that 20 years since I walked out of the hospital. Other than the short time I was in the hospital for quarantine, they put me on all kinds of stuff, and then I got off of it right away. So anyway, I decided that I didn't like this diagnosis, and I'm a little firecracker. If you guys know my personality at all, I'm kind of a little firecracker, and I decided I didn't like that diagnosis, and I was not okay with what the doctors were telling me. So I started to research in the Bible, actually, what God had to say about healing. And if it was possible that he would find grace and mercy over me, and if he would heal me from all these diseases. And I basically cried out to him, and I said, you know what? I am not a good mom right now. I can hardly get off the couch to walk my kids around the corner to the school. And I'm not very, I can't go play with them. I can't go hiking with them. My bones were hurting so bad. The ulcers in my mouth were just awful. I'd have laryngitis for weeks and weeks at a time. Thank goodness texting was just coming out at that time, and I could text people because I couldn't say anything, and I'd have to write it down on paper. I just said, God, I'm not any good to anybody right now. So just either take me home or heal me. Like, I did not want to live in this place of distress for even if it was 5 more years until I died, or 50 more years. I did not want to live in that place. So I basically cried out to God. This was in February of 2012. I don't know if that's why I like to do this Feel Better February thing, but February is significant for me. So I cried out to God, and I said, either heal me physically on this earth, or just take me home and let my family, figure it out, or whatever. Like, I did not like that solution. So I studied and studied and studied in the Bible. Was there a place where it said that he would not heal me, or it was not his desire to heal me, or that there was a time limit to miracles, or that was just an Old Testament thing, or those are just things that happen in the Bible but don't happen now. And I could not find anywhere in the Bible that said that God would not choose to heal me if I was willing to do whatever it took. So I just want to ask you guys today, I want to get some little interaction. Hi, you guys. Thank you for watching again. I'm so glad that you all are on here. If you can relate to any of my story so far, would you just put in the comments again, me? I just want to see who's out there who can relate to autoimmune stuff or can relate to pain. Or if you have somebody that you know and love that is dealing with all of this stuff, I would love for you to just comment yes. Comment me if it's you, or if you have somebody in your family or friends that is dealing with autoimmune, put yes. Here's what happens a lot with autoimmune stuff is we look totally normal and healthy on the outside. I mean, I didn't really change look-wise. I don't have like this grandiose before and after picture of like this like shriveling little sick person to like this, you know, healthy, thriving person. We kind of just look the same. It's just inside is like killing us, literally killing us. So it's hard to relate to autoimmune people to know what their pain is, because on the outside they look fine, but on the inside it's really a struggle. So thank you, you guys, and thank you for putting yes and me. It's good for me to see who all's out there. And so that's my encouragement to you. If you have autoimmune, or if you know people that have autoimmune, it's just to know it really, the struggle is real. Hashtag the struggle is real, right? You can hashtag that right now. Hashtag the struggle is real. It's weird, but it's real. And I would never discount the pain that people feel that have all this stuff. And as we go through Feel Better February also, you can use the strategies and the things that I use, or you can try them out for you. For anxiety, for depression, for, you know, even business. You can use these in your business, the things that they're just basic principles, but I'm going to share with you what I did that worked for me. Again, I'm never going to claim that this is going to totally cure you. That is between you and God and your decisions and whatever. I don't know what your situation is, but I am excited to share with you throughout the month of February what I did from February of 2012 when I cried out to God and said, either take me home or heal me. And what he showed me, the tools, what I call the tools in my toolbox of what he gave to me to get me to where I am today, 6 years later, symptom free of almost every disease that I had, feeling great. I am not on any medications at all. Again, I'm not claiming that you should like stop your medications or anything. Like, I'm just going to share with you my story and the tools that he put in my toolbox in order to go from all of that hospitalization, feeling terrible, to feeling great and being able to hike and go bicycling all the time. We bike around. I love where we live because it's great weather right now, and we bike everywhere. We go, if we need to go to the store, if we go to the park, the library, we bike, which is really fun. I went cliff jumping this summer with my friend Jessica because she's a rock star. And that was so fun. I couldn't have done that because we were jet skiing across the lake, and then we jumped off a cliff. And those are things I had to climb up the mountain. I couldn't have done that if I were still struggling with my autoimmune junk. So grateful that God chose to heal me and that I chose to listen. I'm excited for this month, and I pray that you guys will relate to my story, but also maybe share this story as we go along to help you. The first and foremost thing that I'd like you to consider for today, because this is just kind of an introduction so you could see what I dealt with, and if there's somebody you know that can relate to this, that you would be willing to share it or tag them in this and share with them the hope that there really is. I was given a death sentence, and right now I should be nearly dead. But it's like every year I'm thriving even more and even more and even more. I feel stronger. I feel healthier. We just did a 5-minute plank challenge in the month of January. Woo woo. If you did the plank challenge with us, put hashtag plank in the comments because we had so much fun. And then this month we're doing a gut and butt challenge, which is really fun too. And I'm loving that I have the energy to be able to do this again. And I'm going to share with you all those tools in my toolbox, or at least most of them that I can remember, to help me go from being in total pain to having a purpose. And my purpose is to share this hope with you guys, to share the hope that we don't usually hear from our society. We don't hear it from our communities, that if you are diagnosed with autoimmune, they just tell you this is your lot in life. I'm here to let you know this is my lot in life, and this is what God has done for me. And my purpose is to help other people at least see a little bit of that. So the first thing that I'd like to just have you consider if you are struggling with this personally, or you know somebody that is struggling with this, is overnight tonight, think and pray about what this means for you in your healing journey and your health journey. And if this is something that you feel could actually happen for you. I know that often we look at the grass is greener on the other side. We feel like it's not going to be for me. That's only for you because you're stronger or whatever. But I'm here to encourage you that if you're listening to this message, there's a reason. There is a reason. If you have been brought to this video, to this message, then I really encourage you to listen carefully and to consider that maybe, just maybe, there is hope for you or your loved ones as well, that this can get better. The first thing that I had to do, the very first thing that I had to do when I felt God said, I want to heal you, I will heal you, I have the power to heal you, is I had to choose that I was willing to be healed. That is a really, really, really interesting conversation to have in your head. And we'll get to that through the month. But I had to choose that I was willing to be healed. It's interesting when you have autoimmune, it becomes your whole life. It became, I'll speak for me, it became my whole life. It became my entire identity. It became everything I knew revolved around my autoimmune. And to start to consider the fact that I could be healed from this, I had to realize my entire identity would be changed. And it's for the better, but it's still changed. It's really difficult to think about that. So tonight, pray over this, think about this. What would it look like for you to actually be healed? What would that feel like? Can you actually choose to allow that healing in your life? And are you willing to choose that healing in your life? Are you willing to go there with me? Are you willing to find purpose out of your pain? Your pain might be way greater than I ever dealt with. It might be years and years and years longer than I ever dealt with. But are you willing to find purpose in that pain and choose to feel better? So just something to think about. Thank you again for joining me in my introduction today. I'm probably going to have my videos in the late afternoon each day. It seems to me like a lot of people are, driving home from work or whatever and kind of listen along. So I won't guarantee exactly the time because it's a really, really busy month. This is like the busiest month out of the year for my business. And I don't know why I chose to do this for February. I'm thinking that was not smart, but I feel that God has an assignment for me, and I'm really excited to share with you guys the tools that He gave me so that you too can be well and feel better and sleep better and have more energy and play with your kids or your grandkids. Sorry, got a phone call in. Anyway, so that this can help you guys. I'm going to let you go. Thank you for watching. I'm going to title all of these Feel Better February. So if you have people that can relate to this, that need to hear this, and need to see what those tools were in my toolbox, join me for this month. I'm not going to guarantee it's going to be every single day, but I'm going to do my best to share with you what God has assigned to me from turning my pain into my purpose, and that you also can do the same thing. So thank you. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you so, so much. And I look forward to hearing your wellness stories also. I'm always game for private messaging and letting me know where you're at and how you're feeling and questions and all that kind of stuff also. And we also have a private Facebook group where we can do some discussion after these videos, and it's called Focus on Your Nose. We'll get to that on why it's called Focus on Your Nose. It's weird, right? But if you want to be part of our Facebook group for further discussion on each video, just put in the comments that you'd like to be in the Focus on Your Nose group, and I'll add you in that one as well. So thanks again for watching, and I look forward to February. Have a great day, everybody.